Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a podcast about joyfulness, mindfulness, and well being for small business owners who run conscious businesses, multi passionates, and creative souls. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear back from you. Go to speakpipe.com/veganosaurus and leave a message for me. Tell me about your favorite episode or your favorite thing from this episode, what you took away from it. I'd love to hear back from you and also share it in this podcast. Mrs. Anand said, Meghna and Susmita, you both sit here next to each other. And the whole class started screaming, pointing at us. No, ma'am, they are best friends, they're best friends. So, once in a while in our 8th standard class, the teacher would mix us up. She would make us change our seating so we're not sitting next to the same person through the entire year. And she usually liked to mix us up so we aren't sitting next to our friends. I guess, years later, now thinking about it, I guess her intention was to make sure that everyone gets along with each other, everyone learns from each other without being stuck with a certain group of people, right? And that's a nice idea. Mixed it up. But yeah, I didn't think that when I was in the 8th standard. I couldn't believe my luck. When she said Meghna and Susmita sit next to each other, I just couldn't believe my luck. I was like, oh my God. I had half flown, like floated up from my seat. And then all the narcs, all the people in class, they couldn't feel happy for us. Instead, they pointed out to the teacher that, we are friends and we shouldn't sit next to each other. And so that's how I ended up not sitting next to my best friend throughout 8th standard, or at least throughout that term of the 8th standard, which, oh my God, I would have loved it. Yeah, when you're in school, your teachers choose who you partner with. Now, not so much, right? It's totally 100% up to you who you choose to work with, collaborate with, partner with. So, how do we make our choices when it's left up to us? There's nobody making the decision for us, nobody protecting us. So, how do we make the decision? Who do I work with? Who do I not work with? This is a skill that you gain over time, you develop over time. When you're just starting off with your business, you probably feel like every opportunity for collaboration, you should take it up. Every opportunity for partnering, you should take it up. Because, yes, one is we're starting out and we're like all passionate, and two is even if it's later on, you're a little bit desperate. You're like, oh my God, yes, this is too much work for me. I'd like to, work with somebody else. If somebody is offered to invest in your business, you're like, yes, let's do it. I want that investment because that's going to help me survive. If somebody's come up to you and said, oh, I can design this for you and blah blah blah, and you're like, okay, sure, let that happen. There are many situations like this where you are willing to just accept what comes your way. But over time, you realize that not everybody, not every opportunity that comes your way has to be accepted. We need to say no sometimes. Not every opportunity works out for us. Particularly for you, you will realize, what works for you, what doesn't. But there are some very basic things to keep in mind when you have to choose who you're going to work with. Already, when you meet someone, talk to someone, even if you spend 5-10 minutes with them, you will get a sense of who they are. And for that, you don't trust your mind for it, trust your body, trust your gut. Exactly how are you feeling? If you step away from the situation, away from the attractive offer of opportunity that's in front of you, if you step a little bit away from that, what is your body telling you? What is your gut telling you? Spending time with this person, do you feel a sense of expansion, or do you feel a sense of contraction, like a little bit of a pressure, like you're acting out of, well, out of desperation, if you have to say yes? So, first of all, trust your body, trust what it's telling you. Second thing, whatever a person is offering you to be able to work with you, right? How fair does that offer seem? How much integrity does that person seem to have? Are they simply making promises and, building all these nice castles in the cloud for you in your mind, or are they seeming practical in the offer that they're making? Does the deal seem like it's fair for everyone, or does it look like, oh, they're only looking out for themselves? Again, step away a little bit from the situation and think of these things matter of factly. Don't look at only what you'll get out of it. Look at how that person presents it to you. What do they look like? They stand to gain out of this, and do they really seem like the person who has the best interests of all parties involved? Three, are they pressuring you to make a decision quickly? That is a big, big red flag. If somebody is like, okay, this, and let's collaborate on this project together, or I want to work with you, or whatever, whatever. These are the things I'm offering, and you need to tell me quickly. That if there is a kind of a domineering feel, like they are pushing you to do something to really quickly make a decision, definitely that's a red flag. Because the faster you make a decision, the lesser time you have to weigh the pros and cons, or even listen to your whole to your intuition and to your gut, or to even think for that matter, right? So anyone who pressures you and forces you, I think it's better to stay away from them, to be a little bit careful, because that's not okay. Because that, if you start off working with somebody who is pushing you to do something, that is the equation being set between both of you already. You're starting off that way, so the expectation as you move forward will be that this person demands you work only on their expectations or their timelines and stuff like that, right? Because they are pushing you into something that you may or may not want, but you are not being given the time to think about that. So that is important. Step away from the situation. Never agree to anything right away. Don't say yes just because something looks great on the surface level. Step away from the situation so that you have time. Take some time to think, always, so that you can think about all the different, a person's energy, the way you feel when you interact with them. How does your energy feel in terms of, do you feel drained when you're around somebody, or do you feel energized when you're around this person? These are things to consider, and you can only do that when you're outside that conversation or outside that situation. So you can't make decisions right then and there. Now, these are couple of things for you to remember to watch out for, so that if you need to refuse, you refuse. You can say no to an opportunity or collaboration. Then it's the other thing. Where do you say yes? Where initially you may feel, your brain might feel, no, 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 this is not okay. But somewhere inside, somewhere you're like, no, this might actually work. how do I consider this? This is again a reason to take time before you make decisions. There have been multiple times where I've almost jumped to a conclusion about somebody, and refused to even talk to them or work with them because I had some prejudices or preconceived notions. But when I have stepped away from the situation, instead of simply saying no with a knee jerk reaction, when I've stepped away and thought about it and kind of opened myself a little bit to try out, working with somebody, and then seeing that, oh my god, okay, this is actually nice, we work very well together, and I'm glad I explored this particular opportunity for collaboration, and I almost said no. So, how do you do that when you are unsure in your mind whether to work with someone or not? But you feel like, somewhere intuitively, you feel like maybe I should give this a chance. But you're confused because your brain is saying no, 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 no. Open up very small doors in that case. Like work together on a trial basis, try something out and see how that works, and you how well you gel with each other. Once you try it out a little bit, see in the trial, then you both have an idea, right, of how well it'll work if you work more in the future, whether you need to partner, whether you need to collaborate on something bigger. You will know how many opportunities you both can explore together. And for that, you are doing them a favor also. If you're giving somebody their own opportunity to think whether they should work with you or not by doing this, right, by doing something on a trial basis, and be very upfront about it and say that if you are very unsure anyway, whether to say yes or no, then you can always say, let's work together, let's try something out, on a trial basis in a small way, see how well we gel, see how well we work with each other. Be very upfront and straightforward. And then if it works out, maybe then we can try something bigger. That's a great way to establish boundaries in such a way that it benefits everybody involved. So you can always do that. You can always, do give a small, try things on a very temporary basis. See how you work. Try out with the smallest opportunity possible. See how you work with each other, and then build on that. Bigger, 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 bigger. Yeah, so that is it. This is what I kind of, I don't know, out of the blue I thought of talking about this with you, because we talk about your well-being, we talk about how to run your business, but when it comes to collaboration and saying yes or no, it's always difficult initially, but collaborations are so important and such a big part of us growing our business, so you can't do everything yourself. So sometimes you have to work with others. And to work with others, you have to make good choices, right? Choices that are good not just for you, but for them too, good for your business, benefits everyone all around. And we need to figure out a way to do that and develop practices. And the more and more you do that, the more and more you try working with different people in different ways, the better you become at gauging, what is right for you and what is not right for you. That's it. It's not even about a person being good or bad, but like, does this work for you? That does that not? And practice makes it perfect. So for that, you need to uh, open yourself out and look for more opportunities to work with people and collaborate with people. um, see what you can learn from someone, see what you can teach someone, see how it will help each other, and generally the conscious business community. All right, thank you so much for listening to Feel Good Factor. Remember, go to speakpipe, speakpipe.com/veganosaurus, veganosaurus. The link is in the show notes. And drop me a voice note. Tell me your biggest takeaway from this episode or from any episode on Feel Good Factor. Talk to you again next week. Take care. Bye.